So, your project didn't get funded. I'll tell you why. Weak ideas sink great proposals. You know this very well, of course. But the question is, what makes an idea great or weak? What if I told you there's a framework to fix this? Before you waste months writing a proposal, don't wait to the end. Before you do all the effort, you can actually make sure that your idea is the right one. So today in the EU Project Readiness Pyramid, we'll analyze the one thing that makes or breaks your funding chances, your idea. And then we'll talk to REKA, a team of universities that's doing major progress in a huge project. I'm sure you'll learn something from this interview. Then we'll analyze an Erasmus plus funding call. And in the end, there's a gift for you. There's an AI tool to help you in the next stage of building your great proposal. Because after the idea, that's not enough. You'll need an outstanding partnership. So stick around, because if you're serious about the EU funding, this is the roadmap you've been missing. Okay, stick to the end, and I'll present that gift in the end of the podcast. Let's go.
Welcome back to InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles. In Episode 1, we set the stage for understanding EU project success. Today, we dive into the EU Project Readiness Pyramid, your roadmap to winning EU funding. This pyramid has three key layers: ideas, partnerships, and proposals. Today, we focus on Layer 1, ideas, the foundation of every successful project. Why? Because no matter how strong your proposal or partnerships are, without a fundable idea, your project won't succeed. Innovation alone isn't enough. Your idea must align with EU priorities and drive impact. Here's how to assess it. Does your idea introduce something truly new? Ask yourself, what makes this different from existing solutions? Does it fit the EU funding priorities? Study past projects and refine your idea to align perfectly. Can the project have long-term impact? EU funding favors projects that continue beyond the grant period. Will this project drive measurable change? If it's just nice to have, it's time to rethink your approach. Step 1. Brainstorm with your team. Define the problem and refine the solution. Step 2. Check EU funding call criteria. Does your idea align? Step 3. Score your idea. Rank innovation, relevance, scalability, and impact from 0 to 10. Step 4. Validate with experts. Get feedback from industry professionals before writing the proposal. If your idea doesn't score at least 7 in all areas, refine it before moving forward. Many teams jump into partnerships and proposal writing too early without validating their idea. A weak idea leads to weak partnerships and an unconvincing proposal. Start with a strong foundation. Validate, align, score, and then move to partnerships. Next, we'll hear from REKA, a team that turned bold ideas into funded projects. And in our final segment, we analyze an open Erasmus Capacity Building call, showing how to apply these insights to a real funding opportunity. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Let's help more innovators turn great ideas into EU-funded projects.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. We're here to talk about REKA, not Archimedes exclamation, but a different reality. It's a consortium, it's a project. I'll let my guests talk about what is it and explain a little bit what REKA is, but I promise you it's a different chapter in this podcast. We never had two guests simultaneously. There's a first time for everything, and this is our first time. So thank you, Mona, for being here. Thank you, Anna, for being here. Mona is quite distant. Anna is my neighbor. We live in the same city. We work at the same institution. Mona comes. Let you introduce yourselves. Mona, please tell us what's your institution, what's your name, what you do, where you come from, where are you now?
Yes, so thank you, Fernando. And I come from Finland, so working for Metropolia University of Applied Sciences, located in the capital region in Helsinki, Finland. And in this institution, I work as a research director, responsible of EU advocacy and international project activities. And then now, of course, then having a lead coordinator role in REKA, European University.
Before you tell us a little bit more about that, I would like to ask Anna to introduce herself. Who are you?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Fernando. So my name is Ana Raposo. I am part of the management team from the Polytechnic University of Lisbon, and I am the lead institutional coordinator for IPL for this EUREKA, European University. And I am also the Deputy Vice President for Strategic Communication. So communication is my background, but I'm really, really glad that in my life, the European projects came and could give me a different perspective and to allow me to develop other different skills.
So, first of all, I don't know which one of you wants to explain our viewers what is EUREKA? What are we talking about?
I can perhaps start with briefly. So
Please.
EUREKA is part of these 64 European universities that are funded by Erasmus European University. This is a funding program that was started in 2019. And then it has had 4 funding rounds. Actually, in total 5. The last one ended last summer. So in total 5 funding rounds, and after those we have now 64 European universities, and that's a final number covering about 500 European universities, so around 10% of all European universities. So the initiative is to bring Europe together very much. So we are to actually have 50% of our students, and in case of EUREKA, it is 123,000 students. So more than 60,000 students we should bring together for physical or virtual blended mobility opportunity within the alliance. But this is not the whole story. It's also very much about enhancing the quality of European education area and competitiveness in general. So we are to develop joint education, joint campus, and then our main focus is on climate neutral and smart cities, so bringing value to our stakeholders, cities, society at large in that topic area.
When did it start? What are the time limits of this project? When did it start? When will it end?
So I don't know if you, but I can really, so it's really, our EUREKA collaboration started in 2016 already. So it has been there for a long while, even before the European University Initiative funding. But then we cut the funding in 2023. And then the project was started in 2024, January. So we have been there now having the project together and the funding together for 1 year.
Okay. Did I hear correctly that the project is going to involve 60,000 6 and 4 zeros student? That's a
Please,
lot.
Anna, perhaps you want to, Anna, too. Yes.
Indeed, that's the goal. That's the challenge, we would say. But if I may add something to what Mona was just describing about the EUREKA European University, I would like to highlight that in the beginning, you were saying something like, let's meet this project or this activity, or usually we would like, or we used to introduce ourselves and the EUREKA as a transformation process. So it's something that we would like to emphasize is that the European Universities Initiative is more than one simple project from the European Commission. So we are talking about something more in deep, we would say, in the sense that we are trying to rethink the future of higher education in Europe. So considering this approach, we do have big challenges. So that's why Mona was saying that we have a quite big objective concerning mobility. But this goal is more or less, we would say, set by the European Commission. So the majority of the 64 alliances that are now running, we all have certain objectives and goals, namely to increase the number of mobilities and also to move the mobilities and the internationalization to a next level in the European universities. So this is our goal. We have a quite maybe broad understanding of the definition of mobility. So in the end of the day, our intention is to allow the students from the consortium to have an international experience that could be online, that could be face-to-face, or that can be blended. But we believe that we need to go beyond the concept of the Erasmus program, that standard and really well-known Erasmus program of mobility in and out. It's a success, we know that, but we need to push more for the mobility. And if I may add, we have been seeing that this goal of increasing the mobility is really challenging, looking to the generations that we have now attending the degrees in our institutions. Because it's curious to see that even though these students grew up in a global world, seems that they are not willing to get out from their comfort zone and to go to a different country and to meet other people. So yes, we confirm that the number is big. That is our challenge, and we are working together to reach that goal. I don't know, Mona, if you want to add something else.
Perhaps I want to add, because really I think perhaps something that really distincts us with many other projects is this also the very wide institution-wide approach, and then this we all know that we have very many also, let's say, students who are very eager and keen on going abroad. But what we try to do here is to ensure that this opportunity is really reaching all of our students, so that we would like to embed in the curriculum of the students a mandatory component that brings the REKA collaboration to become an essential part of all students. So the inclusion is our value, and it's our core value, inclusion, and this is perhaps something that really is also big part of the REKA, that this is for all, and even though we target 50%, our approach is to try to get 100, and because in that case,
you are ambitious.
Yes, we really, and I think we're being 100, possibly when we come to at least a big figure, but really to have everything what we do offer to everyone. So it's really open education to everyone.
But tell us a little more about the partnership. How many institutions? We have 2 here, but it's not just 2, right?
Yes.
How many
yes,
institutions
it's right,
are involved?
Yeah. So in the consortia, we have 6 universities as full partners. So besides then Lisbon and Helsinki, we have Amsterdam, Ghent from Belgium, then we have Ostrava from Czechia, and then Frankfurt from Germany. So 6 full partner institutions, but then also very active associate partner universities from Vienna, from Bari, Italy, and also from Bulgaria. We have Odessa from Ukraine, and we have Edinburgh from UK.
Okay. For what you said, I get the feeling that this is a situation a little bit uncommon, because I've been used to see in EU projects, you create a partnership, you make a proposal, you get approval, you get the funding, you run the project ends, and the partnership, everybody goes to their lives, to different other projects. What you're saying is that this partnership, if I understood correctly, already existed before the funding, and for what I get it's meant to go on after the project runs out of time. Why? That's my question. I find it really interesting and quite different from what we usually see. But my question is why? What's the goal?
Yes, you're absolutely right. And this is the European Commission's intends to get really something more, as Anna described, that this is not typical Erasmus, but this is something that the Commission expects that European universities are a key part of the joint European strategy for universities. So it is something that with this type of collaboration, we are experimenting. Also this institutional, long-term, structural, strategic collaboration. So all European University alliances needed to have a common mission statement and a long-term strategy for education. And this mission statement and strategy is actually then approved and signed by the rectors, presidents of our universities, who are part of our governance body. So we have also very, let's say, intense and deep collaboration between our top management. The rectors meeting each other several times a year, actually 4 times, and then also face-to-face meetings, additional ones. And so it's something that, and we also, it's a very interesting situation, because besides this initial 4-year funding, there are already plans for further funding. So after the 4 years, 2 more, and then possibly 7 more years. And also the Commission is having discussions with the national authorities, so the ministries, the national ministries of education, to plan for the long-term sustainability of the alliances. So it is very high-level discussions and commitments around the European universities, making it a very unique. I also have been part of many European projects, but not this one earlier. So very first time being in this type of collaboration.
Thank you for that explanation. But I'm still curious about one thing. What's the real goal behind this? You want to create a European-wide university? Because we often say in Europe that we lag behind the United States because we have much more diversity and languages. But in the United States, I don't see any nationwide university. They have different institutions competing against each other in different parts of the country. Do you think there's something to be gained by this creation of European-wide institutions in higher education?
Definitely. So actually, I think this was quite interesting comparison with the US, because it's really that true that in Europe, even though the Bologna process has been there for a long time for the joint education, but still there is not that type of a guarantee that when the students get their master's degree from one let's say from Portugal or Finland, that actually is qualified then when they go to work in another European country. So the Commission is really trying to support European-wide work and research in general opportunities for students. So currently 2 big initiatives that European Commission drives that are both connected to European universities is a joint European degree. So that would be 1 degree for the student, and that would be qualified for work in across Europe. And then another initiative is European University legal entity, so that we actually would work as a one legal entity. And then there are many European universities already having established that. And this is something very new and now taking then interest and widening through the initiative itself. REKA, we don't have yet our common legal entity, but within the project, we start to prepare and plan for such.
If I may share the experience from one of the institutions from the consortium. So in the Polytechnic University of Lisbon, we have a quite well-established system and procedures in terms of Erasmus. So we have many partners all over Europe. Our students go, other students from other institutions come. But now this European University is really pushing us to rethink procedures, to rethink the way we act. It's being also an opportunity to learn with other European institutions. And I think one of the big goals behind this project, it's also to put European higher education institutions really working and really learning with among themselves in order to reach that higher competitiveness comparing to other geographies as the States of China or other geographies. So it's been really a journey, but a journey that I think will have good results to all of the partners within the consortium, because we are different institutions. Some of our partners, we start to dream to be as them, or other situations we see that we are more developed in other aspects. So it's been during this first year of cooperation really, really interesting.
Do you think we can say that this is the next step after the Erasmus mobility that became a norm in the past decade, I'd say, or maybe 2 decades, but it has grown and it's somehow stagnated?
After the Bologna process, I would say that the line is the Bologna process, and now we are trying to find out what is the next level after the Bologna process, because we realize that it's good. When I would say that it's one of the more successful projects from the European Union that we have in place and continue to have in place, but we really need to reach another level. And instead of starting writing new laws, I think it was really good from the European Union, this approach to allow institutions to test, to see what is working. I can add to what Mona was saying that we had 5 calls. So, for example, the first group of consortiums that started to work in 2020, they developed some pilots to really test these common European degrees, to really test the legal entity, for example.
And as I can add here that currently, because this is really a development, they can see that things moving fast and alliances also learning from each other, not only just across themselves. And there is a new for EU for All. It's also an Erasmus project, and that we are part of. It includes all 64 alliances, and we are all actually part of another project, Erasmus project, which is a community of practice for all the 64 alliances to learn from each other, but also I think really to develop those common frameworks, ways of working that become then European standards.
I can see that you are really pushing the limits, and I think that's going to be very important. But I think that our viewers will also like to know a little bit about your individual institutions. Won't you tell us a little bit about Metropolia, and then maybe Anna can tell us a little bit about our institution. I work there as well. Please, Mona.
Yes, so thank you. So Metropolia is University of Applied Sciences with about we have about 16,000 students and about 1,000 staff. So it is the largest University of Applied Sciences in Helsinki, Finland. But then being a University of Applied Sciences, so it's very practice-oriented. So it has focus on bachelor degrees. We are also allowed to have master degrees, and we have those, very many also now in English, but we don't have any doctoral programs being a University of Applied Sciences. I think, let's say that for us, really what is in Eureka is also a place to increase the internationalization of our institution. I feel that we are very much still using Finnish as a language at our institution, and of course it's important, but I think through this type of collaboration, it's so important for our staff and students to really get the competencies and knowledge to work in English, to be able to do peer exchange within the alliance, also for their own professional development. So I think this is something that, even though we are a large institution, Metropolia, but I still think that there is a lot for us to learn and enhance the way we work through this type of deeper European collaboration.
So you see this as a way forward, but you do run other projects. You have other experiences in EU-funded projects.
Yes. We have those, what I would call like a traditional projects, so traditional Horizon or traditional Erasmus projects. So those we have around 100 projects, R&I projects, and about 30% are European at the moment. Yes.
But in the end, I will ask you for your contacts to be in the show notes, in the podcast notes, so that any viewer that finds it interesting to contact you has an easy way to do it. And that's why I was looking forward to have you introduce Metropolia. Anna, would you like to do the same for Polytechnic Lisbon?
Yes. So the Polytechnic University of Lisbon is also a university of applied sciences. It's one detail that we haven't said yet about the Eureka full partners. We are all universities of applied sciences located in big, medium cities in Europe. The Polytechnic University of Lisbon, we have 8 schools in quite different fields, from engineering to communication, arts, business and accounting, health, technologies, education. And we have a well-defined strategy in terms of international cooperation. So we were part from the Eureka network since 2027, if I'm not mistaken. So we are really, really glad that we could be one of the
2017.
17.
But 2020 actually is the correct one.
No. I'm saying the date that the Polytechnic University of Lisbon joined the REKA Alliance. It was 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
2019.
The alliance,
yes.
the REKA before being a European university, because the REKA stays for Urban Research and Education Knowledge Alliance. So the motto and the starting point was to study about urban challenges and problems. Okay. And that's why we ended up with the core business, I used to say like this, that all the 65 consortiums will have a focus. And our focus, as Mona said, it's on smart cities and carbon neutral cities. So one of our major goals is to contribute to the goals defined from the European Union for the climate neutrality and smart cities, aligned with another project that we have in the European Union, that is the EU Missions Climate Neutral and Smart Cities, where we have the goal for 100 cities to be carbon neutral until 2030. Okay, so some of the cities from the consortium, I would say like this, are part of also this project. So something that I think it's also important to say is that the European Universities Initiative is also pushing to create synergies within Europe and within European projects. So to pushing us to cooperate, to work together, and that's why we are also aligned with this project. On top of that, about the Polytechnic University of Lisbon, I can say that we are glad to have this opportunity, because even though in Portugal we have a quite small country, and in terms of numbers comparing to other geographies, it's completely different. So I must say that in Portugal, the great majority of the public higher education institutions are now members of consortiums of European alliances. If we look for all Europe, I would say that only 10%, 12% of all European higher education institutions have the opportunity to be part of this big wave where we are now in. So we are really, really glad to have this opportunity.
Well, our time is running out, but I would like, I would like to ask you, each of you, if you want to leave a message for some final message for the audience.
Yes, now perhaps I can start and just say that very much welcoming. So if you are from another university or another stakeholder related to climate neutral and smart cities and wishing to collaborate with us, so very welcome to contact. And there are so many angles related to European universities, as this is not a traditional project. But this institutional transformation. So I also hope that you are not too overwhelmed with all this information, because we really think that it's just important that people contact and find the area that interests themselves. No need to think about the whole puzzle, as we say, because it's quite a lot really embedded in the collaboration, very many different angles and aspirations. So both quality and competitiveness, but on the other hand, inclusion. So really bringing everyone involved, letting everyone to benefit of this collaboration. So very warmly welcome to stakeholders, universities, lifelong learners, to be part of in our journey. So don't hesitate to contact.
Thank you, Mona. What about you, Anna? What's your final words?
I totally
Final words
relate
just for the
relates to what Mona just said. and to reinforce that from the Polytechnic University of Lisbon, we are really committed with this transformation process, and of course that we are open to all the contacts and from different other possible partners and stakeholders, and let's move higher education in Europe to this next level.
Okay, thank you both for your time, for your patience, for bearing with me this morning. I'm pretty sure that the audience will enjoy this interview, and there will be your contacts in the podcast notes so they can get in touch with you. And so once again, thank you very much, and see you soon.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The answer: international cooperation with EU funding. In today's world, higher education must keep pace with technology, globalization, and labor market demands. But many institutions lack the resources to modernize. That's why the EU's Capacity Building in Higher Education, CBHE, program funds international projects to reform education, create innovative programs, and strengthen cooperation between universities, businesses, and governments. Are you a higher education institution, a research organization, a public authority, or an education-focused NGO? If so, you can apply. But remember, your project must include partners from both Erasmus Plus program countries and third countries not associated with the program. CBHE funds projects that improve universities, train teachers, modernize curricula, and build industry partnerships. The goal? Better education, more jobs, and stronger institutions. Selected projects receive up to 80% funding through lump sum grants. The deadline is approaching fast, so don't miss your chance. Want to transform education in your country? Apply now. Visit the EU Funding and Tenders portal for full details. Like, share, and tag your network. Let's spread the word about this incredible opportunity to reshape higher education worldwide. For full details, visit the EU Funding and Tenders portal.
So now about the gift I promised in the beginning of the episode. I've been using this framework to analyze this process of building EU proposals, this Project Readiness Pyramid. We've been talking about ideas in this episode. Next episode we'll talk about partnerships. What I have to offer is this AI tool. Nothing fancy, just some prompts that will help you with the usual any LLM, will help you build the right partnership. So I'll put this in a PDF, in a post, in Substack. So you just need to subscribe and then go to the free. If you want, you can also subscribe paid and you'll get access to more information. But if you use the free subscription, any subscription, you just go to the separated that says podcast, and you'll find there a post with this gift, this tool. What this tool does is use some already tested prompts to help you build the right partnership. What is the right partnership? We'll talk about that in the next episode, but basically it tries to align the demands of the call with your objectives, what you want to do in that project. And this is supposed to help you build the right partnership to convince evaluators that you are able to do what you say you want to do. And I use it also in a proposal writing process later, after the partnership is closed. I use it to try to show to evaluators how this is the right partnership for this proposal. So I would be very happy if you could try it out and give some feedback in the comments, maybe in Substack or in any other platform where you watch this podcast. How did you use it and how did you find it? Okay, see you next week. InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles, is a weekly video podcast. Please subscribe the Polyxox newsletter to receive every podcast episode. And if you like receiving it, please press like in whatever platform you are watching or listening. Also, please share InnovEU and Polyxox with anyone you feel will enjoy it. Credits: author and host Fernando C. Gaspar, music Hugo Gaspar, Lisbon, Portugal, 2024. Reach us by email or DM.